Jury selection underway now for Steve Bannon's criminal trial in Washington.
Former President Trump's former advisor is facing 2 contempt of Congress charges. He refused to comply with a subpoena from the House Select Committee investigating the attack on the Capitol. The former White House strategist says he's covered by executive privilege and protected from testifying about the assault on the Capitol. Prosecutors argue Bannon didn't have a role in the Trump administration at the time of the attacks. Let's bring in CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane for more on this. Scott, welcome.
Hey, Scott.
Adriana and Tony, good afternoon.
So Scott, help me understand this executive privilege claim that Bannon's lawyers are taking forward here, because the idea is that he's not in the government. That's not an argument. That's a fact. He was not in the government for 3 years prior to the assault, but he's somehow covered because Trump is covered, former President Trump is covered, and therefore there's like an umbrella of coverage. Do I have that right?
Yeah, it looks like that's not going to be part of this case, Tony. He's made that argument in the pretrial motions, but according to the judge and according to the Justice Department, it's not even clear if former President Trump actually tried to invoke privilege to shield Bannon from participating with this January 6th committee. Bannon's defense team and the prosecutors went back and forth on that in pretrial motions. It looks like he won't be able to muster that as a defense. Several other defenses have now been excluded as well. Bannon is going to be limited to arguing that he thought the deadline for participating with this committee, for sitting for the deposition, for handing over documents, was negotiable or flexible. The Justice Department will argue, no, it was a date certain, October 7th, 2021. That's what this trial is going to be about when it finally starts. Here at the federal courthouse in Washington, they're doing jury selection today. It began sluggishly, but should be done by the end of the day.
On that jury selection point, what kind of questions are potential jurors being asked before it's decided whether they're going to sit on this jury?
We expect there'll be similar questions to those asked of the January 6th defendants themselves. Let me set the scene, though, first of all. They're up on the 6th floor of this federal courthouse in some stiflingly hot hallways, waiting to get into the courtroom to answer questions from the judge, and they're doing it one at a time and out of earshot of the other prospective jurors. If past is prologue, what federal judges ask here about cases that have any nexus to the Capitol or Congress is, do you have a loved one or a friend or somebody close to you who works for Congress? Do you live in the immediate area of Capitol Hill? It's a residential area. Do you have anybody in your family or close to you who works for a law firm or has a legal background? Those are the boilerplate questions, but also they're likely to ask if anybody has a political position that's so entrenched they wouldn't be able to be fair and unbiased. And let me tell you, Steve Bannon's defense lawyers have been leaning on this issue, that all the coverage of the January 6th committee hearings, all of the publicity could inflame and bias a jury. That's why they sought to get this trial delayed. They didn't succeed. A jury will be sat today. They will have this trial this week, but the judge is going to try to winnow out anybody who is potentially inflamed or biased by the coverage.
Now, Scott, as we just mentioned, the whole reason he was charged with contempt of Congress is because Bannon wouldn't cooperate with the January 6th committee. Things have now changed. He's saying he will cooperate. Will that have any effect on this trial?
That's the big question when we start the actual trial, likely tomorrow morning. The judge has left the door cracked that Bannon could possibly enter that into evidence, that he made this 11th hour offer to actually sit with the committee and do an interview. The Justice Department has said that's not a genuine offer by Steve Bannon. He was just trying to soften the ground ahead of this criminal trial. That's why he waited till the eve of this criminal trial to make that offer. But again, the defense is going to be permitted to argue he thought that deadline for his subpoena was negotiable or flexible. And they could, if the judge allows it, they could enter into evidence that he made an offer at a flexible date of his choosing to sit down with this committee. We'll see if the judge makes a firm final decision when the trial opens, again, likely tomorrow morning.
All right, Scott MacFarlane, thank you so much. Stay cool up there in those courtroom hallways.